Welcome to our channel. Today, we're bringing you an exciting look at HD Old Coins 51, a collection of fascinating, historic coins that showcase incredible artistry and craftsmanship. Each coin has a unique story, connecting us to a bygone era and preserving the rich heritage of the past. Whether you're a passionate collector or just curious about these rare treasures, this video will take you on a journey through history. Let's explore the beauty, value, and significance of these remarkable coins. Coin 1. In 1983, Canada's economy was moving through some significant changes. As the country continued to shape its identity in the post-World War II era, many of its traditions, including currency, were evolving to match the times. The 1-cent penny, a coin that had been a mainstay in the Canadian currency system for over a century, was about to experience a pivotal year. The 1983 Canadian 1-cent penny was more than just a piece of metal. It became a symbol of the times, carrying with it not only the stories of the past but the hopes for the future. The story of the 1983 penny begins with its design. The obverse side of the coin, which features the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II, was designed by Canadian artist Dora de Hunt. This was the fifth effigy of the Queen to appear on Canadian coinage, a version that was introduced in 1965 and would be used for many years to come. The portrait depicted the Queen in a more youthful light, looking serene, her hair pulled back in a soft bun. Her image, facing right, was surrounded by the inscription Elizabeth II and the year of minting. The reverse side of the coin is where the design stood out, capturing the imagination of Canadians and coin collectors alike. The 1983 penny continued the tradition of the maple leaf, which had been used on the reverse of Canadian pennies since 1937. The depiction of the maple leaf was no simple, static representation. It was a vibrant, detailed image that resonated with the national pride that many Canadians felt for their country. This design by the Royal Canadian Mint was a perfect reflection of Canada's rich, natural heritage, with the leaf becoming an iconic symbol of the country's forests and vast landscapes. The sharpness of the design on the reverse was an artistic achievement in itself, making the coin a piece of history that collectors cherished. The minting of the 1983 penny was a significant event in its own right. By 1983, the Royal Canadian Mint had been using modern technology to create coins with greater precision, reducing the production costs and ensuring the consistency of the designs. The coin was struck in copper-plated zinc, which was a relatively inexpensive and durable material compared to previous issues that were made from pure copper. This change reflected a growing trend towards using more cost-effective materials in coin production, a trend that would continue for years to come. In 1983, 437.3 million pennies were produced in Canada. This enormous quantity tells us about the demand for low-value coins at the time. Pennies were still an essential part of everyday transactions, particularly in small purchases. Despite their low face value, the penny had a strong presence in Canadian life. These pennies flowed into cash registers and were used in the everyday exchange of goods and services. However, the situation would not last forever. The economic climate in Canada and around the world was changing, and the role of the 1-cent coin would gradually diminish over time. Collectors began to take notice of the 1983 penny almost immediately. While it wasn't as rare as some earlier pennies, its place in the timeline of Canadian currency made it an object of interest. Many collectors were drawn to the penny for its historical significance. The 1983 coin marked the end of an era for the Canadian 1-cent, which would ultimately be phased out years later, in 2012. For those interested in the broader history of Canadian currency, the 1983 penny was seen as a symbol of the time before the shift to a more streamlined, modern currency system. The value of the 1983 penny, like many coins, can be measured in a few ways. While its face value remained just 1 cent throughout its time in circulation, its collector value can fluctuate depending on the condition of the coin. In uncirculated condition, the penny may be worth more to collectors, especially those looking for coins with minimal wear and tear. The higher the grade, the greater the potential value. Coins that have been well preserved, stored away in a coin album, and protected from damage tend to hold the most value on the market. Interestingly, the 1983 penny came in two distinct varieties, one with a rounded 3 in the date and the other with a pointed 3. This subtle difference, known as a date variety, adds another layer of interest for collectors. The pointed 3 variety is rarer than the rounded one, and as such, it tends to carry a higher value among those who specialize in Canadian coinage. The discovery of these varieties was one of the most exciting things for coin collectors at the time, as it provided an additional layer of intrigue to an already fascinating coin. Beyond the technical details of the coin, the 1983 penny is a snapshot of Canada in the early 1980s. It was produced during a period of relative stability following the political and economic upheaval of the 1970s. Canada, under Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, was enjoying a time of national unity, although economic pressures, including inflation and rising debt, were beginning to take their toll. This coin, with its simple yet elegant design, reflects a quieter time in the country's history, a time when the daily interactions of Canadians were marked by the small exchanges of pennies, dimes, and quarters, the very coins that symbolize the foundation of the country's currency system. As we look back at the 1983 penny today, it is not just a piece of metal. It is a reminder of a time gone by when the penny still played an important role in Canadian life. It is also a reminder of the ways in which currency can evolve, adapting to the needs of a changing world. The 1983 penny, though no longer in circulation, remains an enduring symbol of Canada's history and its ongoing journey toward a modern, globalized economy. The coin also serves as a valuable piece of historical currency. While many people today might not think twice about the fate of the penny, coin enthusiasts know that these small coins often carry significant historical weight. In fact, the 1983 penny's place in Canadian numismatic history makes it a cherished piece for collectors. As time passes, the value of this humble coin will likely continue to appreciate, particularly among collectors who specialize in Canadian numismatics. In conclusion, the 1983 Canadian 1-cent penny is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of Canada's past, present, and future. It represents a time of transition in both the country's currency system and its broader societal context. For collectors, it's a piece of history, one that is still relevant today. As the years go by, the 1983 penny will likely only become more valuable, not just in monetary terms, but as a cherished artifact of a bygone era. For those lucky enough to own one, it's a reminder of the intricate ways in which small pieces of currency can hold great historical significance. Coin 2. In the vast and varied world of numismatics, certain coins become more than just currency. They transform into stories, relics of history that connect us to different times, places, and people. One such coin is the 1999 Canada 1-cent penny. This little coin, despite its modest face value, holds a remarkable history and offers a glimpse into Canada's rich heritage, as well as a fascinating journey through its design and minting process. The 1999 Canadian penny was part of a long-standing tradition that Canada had maintained for many years. The penny was a part of everyday life, often circulating in pockets, piggy banks, and the tills of retailers across the country. But this particular year, the penny carries more than just the weight of its small denomination. It serves as a reflection of Canada at the turn of the millennium, a country poised at the edge of great changes. To truly understand the significance of the 1999 Canadian 1-cent, we must first explore its historical context. In 1999, Canada was entering a new era. The nation had recently celebrated the 125th anniversary of its confederation in 1992 and was now stepping into a new century with both optimism and reflection. The 1990s were marked by economic transformation, technological advancements, and a growing sense of identity on the global stage. For many, the 1999 penny became symbolic of an era transitioning from the old to the new, even though, at face value, it seemed just another small denomination of currency. Yet, as we look closer at the design of the 1999 penny, we see it is far from ordinary. Canada has always had a strong tradition of carefully designed coins, each of which tells a story about the country's values and history. The 1999 penny is no exception, with its familiar obverse and reverse designs that have come to symbolize the nation. On the obverse, we find the iconic image of Queen Elizabeth II, a design that has been featured on Canadian coins since 1953. This effigy of Her Majesty, created by artist Susanna Blunt, shows the Queen in profile with a calm and dignified expression. It was the last year of this particular portrait of the Queen on Canadian coins, as new designs would follow in the years after 1999. Her presence on the coin symbolized not only the monarchy's long-standing relationship with Canada, but also its enduring role in the country's identity and governance. On the reverse side, the penny features a classic Canadian design, the maple leaf, one of the country's most recognizable symbols. The maple leaf has long been a symbol of Canada's natural beauty, strength, and unity. In 1999, the penny depicted a stylized, detailed image of a maple leaf, with intricate veins and a lifelike appearance that would remain iconic for years to come. This representation of Canada's most famous tree is a tribute to the nation's roots, as the maple leaf is deeply woven into the fabric of Canadian culture and history. The reverse design, like the obverse, was crafted with precision, demonstrating Canada's commitment to artistry in its coinage. Minting the 1999 Canadian penny involved a well-oiled process that Canada's Royal Canadian Mint had refined over the years. The Royal Canadian Mint, known for its high standards of production, used state-of-the-art technology to create each coin, ensuring its durability, accuracy, and intricate details. The penny, like all other coins minted by the Royal Canadian Mint, was struck using a combination of copper-plated steel. At the time, pennies were still composed of this material, which would later become a subject of debate, especially as the cost of production began to exceed the value of the penny itself. In 1999, Canada produced billions of pennies to satisfy the demand across the country, with many being distributed through banks, financial institutions, and businesses. The total number of pennies struck during this year was significant, making the 1999 Canadian penny a common sight in circulation. Despite being so widely circulated, the 1999 penny wasn't without its collector appeal. Collectors began to notice the value of the 1999 penny, not just as a currency but as a piece of history. Though pennies were still in active circulation during this period, the collecting community began to show an increasing interest in these small but meaningful coins. In particular, coins that were minted in the late 1990s, including the 1999 penny, attracted attention due to their unique status as the final coins of the 20th century. These pennies became a part of what many numismatists call a last-century collection, which included coins minted in 1999, making them especially prized by collectors. But the real surge in interest came years later, after the Canadian government made the decision to phase out the penny. In 2012, Canada officially stopped producing pennies due to the rising cost of production and their decreasing utility in everyday transactions. This decision made the 1999 penny even more valuable in the eyes of collectors. What was once a seemingly insignificant coin was now a reminder of a bygone era, a piece of Canada's past that had been discontinued forever. The finality of the penny's discontinuation only added to its collector appeal, as it became a tangible symbol of change in Canadian currency. As time went on, the 1999 Canadian penny became a sought-after coin for both novice and experienced collectors alike. The fact that it was part of a series of pennies from the final years of production before the coin's eventual discontinuation made it even more desirable. Condition played a significant role in the value of these coins. Pennies in mint or near-mint condition, free from wear and tear, were especially valuable to collectors who sought to preserve the history of Canada's currency system. Coins that had been kept in pristine condition were rare and, as such, commanded a premium price on the collector's market. In terms of value, the 1999 penny has fluctuated over the years, depending on demand and availability. While its face value remains 1 cent, its worth to collectors can range from a few cents to several dollars, depending on the coin's condition, rarity, and place in a larger collection. The 1999 penny, particularly those in uncirculated or proof condition, can fetch a higher price, especially if they are part of a complete set of Canadian pennies. Furthermore, as the coin became a piece of Canadian history, its value increased not just in terms of monetary worth, but also in emotional and cultural significance. For many, the 1999 penny serves as a reminder of the past, a tangible connection to the years before the penny was phased out. It is a piece of history that evokes memories of simpler times, when pennies were a common part of everyday life. For collectors, the 1999 penny is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of a pivotal moment in Canada's numismatic history. In conclusion, the 1999 Canadian 1-cent penny represents much more than its humble face value. It is a coin that encapsulates an entire era in Canadian history, a period marked by significant transitions and cultural shifts. Through its design, minting process, and eventual collector appeal, the 1999 penny has become a sought-after relic of the past. Though the coin is no longer in circulation, it will forever hold a place in the hearts of collectors and Canadians alike, reminding us of a time when pennies were not just currency, but a symbol of the nation's growth and change as it entered a new millennium. The value of the 1999 Canadian penny, both in monetary terms and as a historical artifact, continues to evolve. Whether tucked away in the back of a drawer or displayed proudly in a collection, this small coin is more than just a piece of copper-plated steel. It is a snapshot of Canada's past, a testament to the country's rich numismatic tradition, and a symbol of the ongoing journey of Canadian currency. Coin 3. The 2008 Canadian 1-cent penny may seem like a simple, everyday coin to the casual observer, but for numismatists and collectors alike, this small piece of currency represents a significant part of Canada's history. As we delve into the journey of this particular penny, we'll uncover the layers of its design, the story behind its minting, its cultural significance, and its role in the evolution of Canadian currency. In 2008, Canada was navigating through a time of economic change, technological advances, and cultural shifts. While the world was adjusting to the digital age and global connectivity, the 2008 penny remained a tangible reminder of a time when physical currency held a central place in daily life. But as we look closer at the 2008 penny, we also find that it marked a year of important transitions for Canadian coinage and, ultimately, for the country's monetary system. The 2008 Canadian penny came at the tail end of a series of coins that had circulated for many decades. For years, pennies had been a staple in Canadians' pockets and change purses, often used for small purchases or as spare change left over after larger transactions. But by the time the 2008 penny was minted, the penny was already facing growing criticism. The cost of producing the penny was gradually becoming higher than its face value, and debates surrounding its future had begun to take center stage. In 2008, the idea that the penny might soon be phased out was already circulating. Although it wouldn't be officially discontinued until 2012, the 2008 penny was part of the last few years of regular production. The penny, like the years leading up to it, became a part of a larger conversation about Canada's economic landscape and the country's evolving approach to currency. In 2008, Canada was stepping further into the globalized economy, and the penny was becoming increasingly less practical in an age of digital payments and electronic transactions. Despite its practical obsolescence, the 2008 penny remained an important part of Canada's numismatic history. It was, after all, one of the last pennies ever minted by the Royal Canadian Mint before the decision was made to discontinue the 1-cent coin in 2012. With that knowledge, collectors began to take notice of the 2008 penny, understanding that it would eventually become a piece of history. The design of the 2008 Canadian penny is rooted in a tradition that dates back to the early days of Canadian coinage. On the obverse of the coin, we see the classic image of Queen Elizabeth II, which had been the standard design on Canadian coins since her coronation in 1953. In 2008, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth, created by artist Susanna Blunt, still adorned Canadian coins, offering a timeless representation of the monarchy's presence in the country. The Queen's likeness was featured in a right-facing profile, her hair elegantly swept back, and her crown, a symbol of the royal connection, visible above her head. This image of the Queen was significant because it marked one of the final years that the design would appear on Canadian coinage in this form. In the years following 2008, Canada would adopt a new, more contemporary effigy of the Queen, signifying a shift in the country's approach to numismatic art. As a result, the 2008 penny became a collector's item for those seeking to preserve the final year of this particular portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on Canadian currency. On the reverse side of the coin, we find the iconic design of the maple leaf. This emblem has been synonymous with Canadian identity for centuries, long before it was officially adopted as the symbol of Canada in the 1960s. The maple leaf, with its distinctive five-pointed shape, had been featured on Canadian pennies for many years. The 2008 version of the penny showed a detailed, beautifully rendered maple leaf, its veins clearly defined and its edges sharp and crisp. This design perfectly captured the essence of Canadian pride, symbolizing the country's natural beauty and the strength of its unity. The maple leaf on the reverse of the penny served not only as a national symbol, but also as a reminder of Canada's deep connection to its natural landscape. The imagery on the 2008 penny called to mind the great forests of Canada, where maple trees stretch out across the vast landscape, providing a sense of place and belonging for Canadians from coast to coast. This simple yet powerful design would go on to become one of the most enduring symbols in Canadian numismatic history. Minting the 2008 Canadian penny was a process handled by the Royal Canadian Mint, which had been responsible for producing Canada's currency since its establishment in 1908. The Mint's role in the production of the 2008 penny was critical in ensuring the quality and precision of each coin. The 2008 penny, like its predecessors, was struck using copper-plated steel, a combination of materials that had become standard for Canadian pennies over the years. Each penny was meticulously minted with high standards of craftsmanship, resulting in coins that were sharp, clear, and durable. Despite the challenges facing the penny in terms of its production costs, the Royal Canadian Mint continued to mint millions of pennies in 2008, as they were still widely used in circulation at the time. The 2008 penny was produced in various quantities at the Mint's facilities in Ottawa, and it circulated widely across the country, from small towns to big cities, representing a familiar and everyday form of currency for Canadians. As with any coin, the condition of the 2008 penny played a significant role in its value to collectors. While the 2008 penny was still being produced in large numbers and was commonly found in circulation, its value began to increase in the years after its discontinuation. As collectors began to search for specific years of pennies, particularly those from the final years of the penny's existence, the 2008 penny became a valuable piece in many collections. Over time, as more pennies were removed from circulation and as fewer new pennies were minted, the 2008 penny became more difficult to find in everyday transactions. This scarcity, combined with the growing interest in collecting coins from the final years of the penny's existence, began to drive up the value of the 2008 Canadian penny. Like many other coins, its value was influenced by factors such as condition, rarity, and demand. Pennies in pristine or near-mint condition became more sought after, as collectors sought to preserve a piece of Canadian history that would soon be gone. As we look at the 2008 penny today, we realize that its value is no longer tied just to its face value of 1 cent. The coin has become a piece of Canadian history, representing the end of an era. Its value now lies not just in its physical worth, but in its cultural and historical significance. For collectors, the 2008 penny is a reminder of a time when pennies were still an integral part of Canadian life, and it serves as a connection to the past, a time before the penny was phased out completely. In conclusion, the 2008 Canadian 1-cent penny is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of a changing time in Canada's history. It represents the final years of the penny's production, a currency that had been in circulation for over a century. The design, featuring the maple leaf on the reverse and the Queen's portrait on the obverse, is a testament to Canada's rich heritage and national identity. The minting process, overseen by the Royal Canadian Mint, ensured that each penny was crafted with precision and care. And now, as the penny is no longer in circulation, the 2008 penny has become a valuable piece of history, sought after by collectors and cherished by those who appreciate the legacy of Canadian coinage. So, next time you come across a 2008 Canadian penny, remember that it's not just a coin. It's a small piece of Canadian history, a reminder of the past and a symbol of the enduring legacy of Canada's currency. Whether tucked away in a coin jar or carefully stored in a collection, the 2008 penny will continue to be a piece of the past, treasured by generations to come.